Good morning, everybody. It's a real honor being here today. It's not the first time for us here in Lithuania. We love this beautiful country, also because our founder is half Lithuanian, half Italian. Wow. So we are here today to talk about the future challenges for cities and for architecture. So we did this question to ourselves for first, and we want to share with you what are our answers to it. So the question is, no time, no space for natural intelligence. So as we all know, we are facing new situations in our present. Artificial intelligence is literally invading our lives, and it will affect our production as architects in the future decades. So it doesn't move. Sorry. Okay. Yes. So our studio, some words of a brief presentation of our studio for ones who doesn't know us. The picture you see is these are our founders, Massimiliano and Doriana FUKSAS. Architects have during the past 50 years have produced several projects all around the world, every time with a continuously evolving approach to architecture. So this is what we want, this is what distinguishes us, is continuously chasing for new solutions and new challenges for our work. So our company has developed this innovative approach in a very big, very wide variety of projects, spanning from urban master plans to airports to spaces for Congress and concert halls. Every project has its own story. This is what we want to make every time, a different approach with different changes with a different context. So the next projects I will show you very briefly, they are talking about actions. So when we start a project, we first of all we want to think about what is exactly the goal of the project. In this case, communicate. It is about the Rome Congress Center. The Rome Congress Center is not just a Congress Center. It's a place for people to communicate. So this is what this building is made. It's made of communication, and we decided to give this building a special image. It is the image of the cloud. In fact, let's say it is also known as the cloud, la nuvola in Italiano. So this space is conceived, is made of, hosts auditoriums, of course, exhibition spaces, and also an hotel for those attending the Congress. And it has a 55,000 square meters surface. Inside of it, you can see this volume, this organic shape. It's made of metal, glass, and around there's a glass thica made of metal, glass, and reinforced concrete that hosts what represents the human thinking, which is the cloud here. So the cloud is this independent structure that it's covered with 15,000 square meters of highly advanced membrane fiberglass. And the role of playing between the two different shapes, the outer pure volume and the inside organic one, is essential for symbolizing this connection between the city of Rome, which is very chaotic, we can say, and the convention center. So the cloud in this case represents and incorporates the human thoughts inside of his in vitro volume. So this is what we want to communicate with this project. And the project nowadays is probably the most used building in Rome, not just for conventions, but also for exhibitions and meetings. It's a place to meet. It's a place to live in, not just to attend on occasion of congresses. The other action is to connect. Connect here is represented here by the Shenzhen airport. The airports are today, of course, one of the most interesting buildings and architecture that we have the chance to build, because airports are not just places for traveling, for commuting. They are a place also to stay. Most of us, when we're getting to an airport, we will stay there several hours waiting for our flight. And they're stressing, actually. So what we did here is trying to make this place less stressful by this this image, this ceiling that you see here. You see, evokes in our minds an organic shape again. In this case of like a manta ray fish that breathes and changes its own shape. So this, in our minds, this image make people staying inside of it, feeling less stressful about the moment. So there's always this approach, I can call it like an artistic approach, of trying to reach a poetic image in our project, not just satisfying the needs and the functions that this building is supposed to accomplish, but also giving a poetic image related to the context, related to the function, and related to the place, because this is one thing that we will talk about in a few slides. The other action is gather. So gathering means for us the Milan Fair project, which is made 20 years ago, more, maybe a little more, but it's still working as a beginning. It gathers millions of people every year, and it spans through a mile path, like a promenade in the middle, like a spinal axis. You can see here that during the years has become artificial, let's say, but also natural landscape of the surroundings of Milan. So this project is not, it tells us not just about its function, which is hosting trade fairs, but also like creating as architects a new landscape. Landscape is for us always at the center of our goals, of our thoughts. The next one is rise. Rise is an action that we are nowadays used to, but it's always a very delicate operation. In this case, in Shenzhen, with the Guozhen Tower that we're bringing here today, in China, we try to make this operation of rising a little more complex. I mean, instead of just rising a volume from the bottom to the top, we decided to put a complication in it. So there are two slides of the building, as you can see. So there's a like three-dimensional void in the middle, creating different scenarios. So it's not like that we are stuck, as if we were not stuck in a building, but we are always changing our view depending on this inner void. And so there are some diagonal spaces creating this tension between the two halves. So there is always this, as you can see, there is always this tension in our work between image, experience, and function. The last one is relate. This is very actual. This project has been made in the northern Italy. It is a research center and auditorium for, as you can see here, of the famous Nardini distillery. So they called us that they want us to build this specific building in the middle of nature, of a natural context. And so we did this project by using natural elements. Water, for example, that you can see here, it reflects the building, doubling. And this gives to the bubbles an image of as if they were like trees designed for man. Once inside, this building transforms itself in a perfect point of view of the surroundings. But now that we've seen like this small selection of projects, I want to get better into the topic of this talk, which is urban anomalies. Urban anomalies are related to the concept of evolution. We all know what evolution is. Evolution, it doesn't affect not only the human beings, but also the cities, our products as human beings. So, what is the silent engine of evolution? From our point of view, the silent engine is the error. Without error, there is no evolution. So we're learning from our mistakes. Our cells are replacing bad cells with good cells continuously. So this evolutionary process, it could be useful also to understand what is the future of cities by learning from its anomalies. And so new housing models, we wrote there, hybrid programs, and adaptive spatial strategy arise from pressure and constraint. We are growing, we are continuously growing. Population growth, building growth, everything is talking us about an uncontrolled growing. So we have to face new challenges in the future. We just said with the pandemic in the past years. So are we ready for facing those challenges? We can we can learn what to do from the difference between what is intended to be architecture by natural intelligence and by artificial intelligence. So as you can see here, architecture has been always defined since the modern movement with these two mediums, which are space and time. So the continuity between space and time describe architecture, for example, as for the category of space with an inner space and outer space. So there's a continuity in the inner space, a space made to protect, to live in, and to connect spaces. And from the outer side of it, it was conceived like a space to relate with the context, with nature, and to represent that specific culture. And finally, to create a human dynamic scenario. Relating the time divided in past, present, and future, architecture was made to embrace history, to meet that needs in that specific moment, and to adapt to different use at outer condition changings. This is what has changed with the artificial intelligence, not just with artificial intelligence, but also with this time, this era that we are living in. So there's no more space and no more time. Inner space is made of a mixed use space. There's no more a specific function for each space. Each space has to be like flexible. So there's the dimension of experience. So there's no more function, there's the experience. We want to experience places in a time, in an era of, in this global time that we're still inside of it. We are looking for spaces that gives us a real experience. We need it. And so we need social interaction that we probably lost in the previous years. And from the outside, we need sustainability. This is for sure. And we need to recover our local identity that probably has been lost too in the name of global flag. And then there's this last word, which is very important and maybe abused nowadays, but it is important. This is resilience, because we need to solve the problems and the challenges that this time and the future time will present us by solving new problems, by learning from our mistakes. So resilience is a key word for the future of architecture. And about time, we don't live in the past, in the present, in the future, no more. We live in an infinite present, which is layered, dynamic. So it's about complexity. It's complex, but at the same time, it's very simple. Like the future of cities. A city evolved through reusing parts of itself. With transformation, no more demolitions. We need to transform, to reuse the past buildings by innovating. And then temporary uses. Who says that one part has to be the same forever? We can use temporary parts of the city for specific uses, for specific functions, and then changing at the changing of the needs of community. And then this is something that we've lost definitely. The walkability. There was a time when there was this habit to move by walk, just by walk, and we've lost it. So we want to bring it back to our most common habits. And then the last one is the adaptability, which is related with reuse and transformation. So a city needs to be adaptable to changing situation. This is just a little parallel between natural intelligence on the left and artificial intelligence on the right side. So these are like 7 categories, 7 couples of words that makes us understand what is the difference between the two. I don't want to talk too much about this, but maybe we can reflect on this later. In short words, the main difference is that artificial intelligence is made by us. And it looks perfect. It looks infinite. But we don't have to forget that it's just a simulation of an intelligence. Instead of us, we have emulation. We are emulating things that we see since we are like kids. So artificial intelligence is made by us. And we have to teach artificial intelligence in the next years, in the next months probably, to make mistakes. Because errors, as I said at the beginning, is the silent engine of life. And these are our testing field for architecture. We just present here a couple of case studies for telling you how we work on urban anomalies. Anomalies, in this case, like density and sprawl. They are talking about congestion and diffusion. First, density. As we said, population is growing more and more. So how? How is it possible to, in the upcoming years, to expand the city without losing a human livable space? The vertical growth and the horizontal extension, historically adopted, are no more usable. This is not the right way to grow. So, how to face this densification without following this pattern, what we call this pattern, built, non-built. So there's a building and there's a void. There's a building, there's a void. So we found this new image, we created this new image, whereas the growing, the vertical and the horizontal growing has this medium, which is a connection. So verticality and horizontal lines are intertwined with a diagonal elements. And we don't want new landscape made of same volumes, repeating windows, repeating elements of the city. We don't want a generic city, quoting a famous word from the past years. We want a specific city. We want a local city. This city is made of natural shape. This is like a landscape. This is like a natural landscape. And we call it urban quantum. This model is an artificial intelligence-driven system, which is based on real situations. So it's based on industrialization of the process of architecture. There's an off-site production and advanced logistics, robotization of construction site, and digital integration with the supply chain. The units, the housing units, are modular, and so they are conceived with this evolutive algorithm, which is based basically on the outer condition. So where basically the sun is positioned, the type of unit, of housing unit that we have to provide, and in general, the outer conditions of the site. So this model is inspired by nature. And the difference between standardization, which is basically what industry is, and customization, which is architecture, is mediated by artificial intelligence. So this digital integration affects the construction, the fragmented supply chain. And so with BIM modeling, of course, that we all know, we can make the different parts of the projects speaking with each other from the beginning. I already talked about this, logistics and robotization of construction site. So this is basically what the projects came from. There was this way of thinking about this new housing units as a rhizomatic system. So the units are aggregating themselves by natural process led by this evolutionary algorithm, depending on inputs that we decide to give it. And the final scenario is something that reminds us, this is the first step, which is the landscape. I was saying, reminds us of something that is growing slowly. And it was blooming, like a natural element. This is full of green. This is just a structure. This is a diagram that you're seeing here. This is the final image. So even though we are even talking about housing units, so repeating every time the same unit, which is kind of a very distortive scenario, we try to make it more natural. We try to emulate nature by giving it this whole image of a park. And then there's the sprawl that affects thousands of cities all around the world, with infrastructures that make people dependent of the distance between where they live and where they work. So we want to remove all of this serial repetition of elements, equal elements. We want to develop identity of people, identity of cities. No more repetition, no more suburbs like this. This is an image that we found is a natural, how can I say, sprawl in Nigeria. So see the difference between the images that that we saw before and this one. This is like more natural, of course. This is a more natural context. But we want to learn from cases like this. The way that is it possible to grow and to make our cities bigger with natural processes. And finally, I will present now this like utopic project that we made for the line, which has not been realized, of course, but reflects on condensing a city along just a line. This image was capturing us from the beginning, because we suddenly thought about like a human organism made of different layers, different organs. So it's just a line, and inside of it you had to put housing units. What are housing units? Housing units are the cells of the city. You have to put infrastructures and public spaces, which is the connective tissue of this body. And then there's the neuronal system, which is the yellow one, which are the assets of the city. Congress Hall, hospitals, convention center, concert halls. All of this are merged into a line. These three layers. As I said, the connective tissue, the cellular system, and the neural system. This is the image of the whole body. In our mind, the future of cities lies in their capacity to incorporate error and absorb deviation and transform this disruption into opportunity. This is what we can only do to face these challenges by not forgetting our past, our capacity to evolve throughout mutations. These anomalies will become in the future opportunities. Thank you.